I'm Luli Castellano. I'm a predoctoral researcher in the Bacine Lab.
And my name is Sam Campbell, and I'm a first-year grad student in the Zeitlinger Lab. Hello.
Hi.
I've heard the Stowers Grad program is a lot different in terms of how the classes and the rotations work. So could you speak to that a little bit more and what your experience was with that?
Well, I think that's one of my favorite things from the program, actually, because you can focus on the classes and rotations, and then you're full-time working in the lab. I love that. And how this works is that you join in August, and then for those first 6 months, you only have classes. These are the modules, which are 2-week-long modules, different subjects, cell biology, evolution. We get to interact a lot with the PIs, and we do different projects, and you get to interact a lot with the members from the core facilities too. Later, you decide in which labs you want to rotate, and so you pick 3 labs, and you will do 8 weeks rotations in each of them. And during those rotations, you get to interact with that specific PI, with the members of the lab, and you get to see if you really like working there, if you like the culture in the lab, if you like the model you're working with, if you like the research, the questions that you're asking. And I think that's very important and very helpful to further decide, am I happy here? Am I excited in this lab? Do I want to join this lab? And then we decide which lab we want to be in.
When you say you're in classes all day, is that like you sitting and listening to lectures all day, or are you out doing stuff with your hands and actually doing experiments? And
both. So in the morning there's more lectures, and then in the afternoon usually we have different projects.
Okay.
And then after those 2 weeks, we present to the PI and the TAs the specific projects that we have carried out, usually in groups.
So are there any tests or anything, or?
Not specifically tests, but this presentation is an evaluation of what we did, and if we are able to present what we did and if we understand what we are doing.
What do you look for, and how do you end up actually deciding what lab you want to join?
The goal is to pick a lab for your PhD, right? So you have to be excited about the science. The lab has to be a good fit for you, and you have to be a good fit for the lab. We don't necessarily need to expect to be friends with everyone, but you have to feel comfortable in the environment you're working with. I would say it's not only the science, but also the personal aspect of how I feel there. Am I motivated there? Do I feel supported in the lab?
Well, that makes sense, because your lab, for better or for worse, kind of becomes your second family. Yeah. So as you've gone throughout your PhD, what do you think is something that keeps you motivated? Because I know a PhD is not easy.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster, honestly. But I think when you like what you're doing, you get motivated with the data you're working for, and then you discover something unexpected, maybe, or you confirm what your hypothesis, and those moments are really motivating. Also, when you go to conferences, for example, and you present your work and you see that people get excited about your work, and I think that's also a good refill.
I know PhD programs can be really intensive, and one thing that I worried about was just getting sucked into doing the PhD and not having a life outside of science. How do you balance work and life outside of science too?
That's also very important, because it's easy to get kind of lost in the lab, and because science is exciting, but it's also, many times it's difficult. What I recommend is to have activities outside of Stowers, for example. So pick a hobby, any sport, any activity, and that helps you to meet other people outside of Stowers.
Okay. So what do you like to do then?
I play volleyball and I dance bachata.
Oh, cool. Do people within Stowers do stuff together outside? Is there a good community here, would you say?
Yes, the community is amazing, and there's a group that plays volleyball 1 or 2 per week together, and then they also get together to play soccer.
Yeah, I've gone to that before.
And then there's also a piano, beautiful piano at the library. So, sometimes you hear people playing there, which is great because not everyone has a piano. So,
Yeah.
So you finish the modules and you finish the rotations. And what do you like the most about the modules, for example?
I would say one of the biggest takeaways for the modules for me was it's not a lot of you just sitting down and writing and memorizing things, kind of like, or at least I did for my undergraduate biology courses. I would say a lot of it is learning how to find information and then determining what information is actually relevant to whatever question you're trying to answer or problem you're trying to figure out. And I think that's probably the most important skill you learn, just because especially today there are so many papers and so much information out there, and it's really, really easy to get lost in all that. So
yeah, and I feel that in the experiments that we were doing in the modules, we had to really think a lot about our hypothesis, our question, and how we're going to carry out the experiment to answer that question. Like, there's a lot of critical thinking that I think it starts in the modules and then will never end during your PhD.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your day to help answer some of my questions, and I hope the rest of your doctorate goes very well.
Thank you, and good luck in your PhD journey, and I'm sure it will be great. And if you need any help, I'm here.
Oh, of course. Thank you.